What up? What up? What up? It's Ibn Web, Quran, and Son. Got another official thing situation going down here. Looking forward to this. Got my man, Deshawn Hawkins, aka DJ Hawk, for those in the know. I know Deshawn has done a lot, as far as in his life up to this point, and got a whole lot more to do. Whether it was DJing, playing ball, building up some businesses, being a great father, what have you here. So just looking forward to having him, chop it up a little bit, just get into some things, have some fun, what have you. Maybe I learned a thing or two about him. It's all good. So just hold tight. What's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, no, man. Appreciate it. I know we was in and out trying to connect here, man. So now I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
You good, man? I see you trying to get things situated, man.
I was like on the other line with this rep, trying to get some stuff done too. Like I had to make an order and stuff like that. So doing good, man.
Good. No, it don't stop, man. It don't stop. As I mentioned to you, when I talked about this is something, man, I just wound up doing top of the year, probably late January or something, man. I was just like, I'm just gonna go left and do something I got no business doing, but I just jumped in and did it, man. Next thing I know, done snowballed and then me talking and everything else. And like I told you, man, I don't even like talking as much, but it's been fun. It's been a blast. So, and like I said, I appreciate you just having the opportunity to just jump on or what have you, man. Basically, a little dose of nostalgia, some current stuff, man, and that's it, man. Like I said, I'm mindful of your time, so I'm gonna be respectful of that as well.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Appreciate you having me, and you definitely deserve to be doing it. Don't minimize you being in the business and wanting to share and kind of have conversations with it's a good thing, man. Good thing.
I hear you. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So I'm gonna take you back, man. So like, where are you from?
I'm originally from Hartford.
Okay.
My father, his roots are actually in Brooklyn. He grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and he was getting in trouble down there, and he came. My grandfather back then, he lived in Hartford, so my grandmother shipped him up to Hartford to live.
Mm-hmm.
So he came here. My mom was at Hartford High. They met, and I happened when they was 16 years old. And was raised by my grandparents really, because my mom and dad, they was going to school and stuff like that. So I was raised by my grandmother, grandfather, and right on the north end of Hartford, man, Garden Street, Chappelle Gardens, that area.
Okay. Now you the only child?
No, I have on my mother's side, I have a brother and a sister.
Okay.
On my father's side, I got 6 brothers.
Okay. Oh, you deep. Yeah.
My dad had 3 kids by the time he was 19.
Okay. Okay.
So me and my brothers are all really kind of close in age, but I do have like a younger brother. He's like 19 years old. He's in college. So.
Okay. Nah. That's what it is, man. Like as far as I know, sports played a big part in your life, man. Like, when did you get started just running around playing? Was it just around the way and led to leagues or, all this stuff? And actually, I know you play basketball. Any other sports too as well that you enjoy doing?
I started out, man, with football. Like any other urban kid, playing football in the street, that was a huge thing, back in the days, like you had to be nice to it, playing football in the street. Watch out for the cars and all of that.
Everything, absolutely.
And back then I wanted to be a quarterback so bad, man. I idolized Randall Cunningham, and I wanted to be that scrambling quarterback, and I wanted to do it up until 9th grade, until when I played freshman football and I went to practice and I actually knew. Saw like, oh, you're not Randall Cunningham. Quarterbacks actually get hit,
Yeah.
And it's actually cold out there, So.
Yeah, it's cute in August and September.
Right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. Nah.
So, I had developed a love for basketball too, just being in the neighborhood, and the crate ball and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
being able to kind of they had put a little basketball hoop up in my apartment complex, when
Okay.
I was a kid. So, just going out there experimenting. My uncles, they used to take me to the park and stuff like that, play. And I just, one day I was in 8th grade. My friend Marcus was like, yo, you should come with me. Yo, they having a tryout. At the time I was going to school out in Farmington. And it
Hmm.
was like, yo, they having a tryout, yo, for travel. You should go. And I was like, man, I ain't never played no organized ball before. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but he was like, yo, it's a start. Like, you should come. And they picked me, so that was my first, organized basketball, 8th grade, and my travel team was really good.
Okay.
And I had a knack for, rebounding, just being around the ball, rebounding, blocking shots, just doing all the dirty work. So they loved me, and I was like a little Dennis Rodman back then,
Okay. Okay.
did all the dirty work, and you pass me the ball though, I'll make a layup,
Mhm.
but I wasn't skilled like that, and as I more and more I played, the more and more I was like, I want to be one of those people with the ball in my hands. I want to
Mhm.
be one of those people making the decisions, and I just worked on my game over and over. And, high school, I really just took off. My travel coach back then, he was sending me to camps like all summer just
Okay.
to get better and stuff. And at that time, I didn't know. I was just going along for the ride. But after over time, I started getting better and better, and I started running into better kids. And I was like, okay, I got to start sharpening my skills, so when I do run up against people, I'm ready. So and when I when I was a when I was a freshman, I moved to West Hartford
Okay.
schools, and I went to Conner High School, and I ended up repeating my freshman year.
Hmm.
And so it really was my sophomore year, but I was a freshman, so I played JV maybe the first 3 or 4 games. I
Okay.
never played freshman
Didn't
basketball.
play. Okay. I was gonna ask you that. Yeah.
Never played freshman basketball. I
Hmm.
played maybe 3 or 4 games as a JV player, and then I got the opportunity to start varsity, and I never looked back. I
Oh, so
started
you started
varsity
as a
for the
freshman. Okay.
rest of my time at Conard. I started varsity.
Yeah.
Um,
So how was that, man? Obviously, you new in town, new kid in town. You just come on the scene, and next thing you know, you freshman playing varsity. So I'm sure it had to be, some comments, some things being said to you, especially being in West Hartford. So I'm
yeah,
sure coming from Hartford, just how was that whole experience at not only playing varsity but socially, all that other stuff, man.
it was surprisingly though, it wasn't bad then. Surprisingly they embraced me,
Okay.
because back then the Connor team was really good,
Okay.
and you talking about a period where, this was 1993, so this was a year after Marcus Camby had
Got
left
you.
Connor
Okay.
and became a Gatorade Player of the Year at Harper High, so I think they saw the potential, and because we had a lot of Project Concern kids that was coming in to West Hartford also, so I think they embraced us, man. And surprisingly, those kids that was on the team, I think they saw more potential in me than I saw in myself.
Yeah.
They was like, yo, anytime they was like going to play ball, they would be like, yo, come play with me, yo, come, like, yo, come run with us. We going up to walk it, come run with us. We going up to the community center, come out and play, like, and eventually it developed into friendships, that I still
Mhm.
have to this day, Um, so
Nah, and then even with that playing ball, obviously you got the summers, the in between times, and all that. I know you mentioned
Uh,
8th grade, the whole travel thing. You got put on to that and kind of said go from there. But how was that even back then here in Connecticut? Was it just you jumped in some AAU teams during the summer as far as the off season, or what did you do in between, like obviously your summers while in high school?
my summers in high school, my coach, he
You did
had a
mention camps. I remember you did mention
yeah,
camps.
he had a situation, and this was like when I played for John Beignet. Um, he was a coach at Conard at the time, and he coached there for 30 years.
Mhm.
So this was like during like the prime of his career,
Okay.
there. So he had like partnerships like slam. He was doing like the Slamma Jamma camps, like he was having like Ray Allen and all of these big players come to these camps. So his camps was huge at the
Hmm.
time. So we actually worked the camps.
Okay.
We would work the camps during the day, and then after it'd be an opportunity for us to play ball in the gym. So we'd all stay and play ball, the camp counselors and stuff like that. Surprisingly, I never got the chance to play AAU. I
Okay.
got invited to uh, one AAU like tryout, and when I went, was a good tryout. Me and one of my boys, we went together and went. We was gonna have a really good team. Um, had some kids from Bloomfield. Like they kind of went through the division and they picked the best kids and tried to put them on a team.
Okay.
But when we played the first day, and I think when they found out, like, yeah, these dudes, they can't afford what it costs to play AAU.
Yeah.
I
Back. Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
was like, okay, yeah, we got to go somewhere else.
Hmm.
you
Okay.
know. So that's why it never amounted out for me. My parents couldn't afford it. My mother and father, they weren't together at that time, and my mother, she was working 2 full-time jobs. She was working as a nurse at night, third shift, and then she would leave there and she would go to work, her job at the post office. So, I was pretty much, independent, like raising my little brother and sister, you
Hmm.
know. Um, so, it was tough at that time, income, money wise,
Yeah.
financially for us, so you know, my summers just consisted of going to the local parks
I
and
was about to.
playing as
Yeah.
much as I could,
I was about to say, man, that's like our AAU within itself, man. You're going from park to park,
It
people
is.
traveling from wherever to come play, depending what park it was. So, I mean, it was rich in experience. It wasn't nobody, no politics, anything. I mean, you can rock, you can rock. If you can't, you ain't playing. So, I mean, that's a hell of experience in itself, man. When did you realize like this basketball thing? I'm nice. Like when did it like start clicking for you?
I think two things kind of made it like surreal for me. Like one was when we played the Doc Hurley Classic,
Okay.
and it was at the Hartford Civic Center.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
started in the Doc Hurley Classic.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like this is a place that holds 15,000 people.
Hmm.
And it's like the Channel 30 News is here, the Harper Current is here, like all the biggest media outlets in the state is here.
Hmm.
And it's like probably like 4 or 5,000 people because we played before the Hartford High and Weaver game, which
Okay.
was like the biggest game of the tournament. So it was like, yo, okay, like damn, I'm pretty good to be on a stage here,
Hmm.
So that was a pretty big moment for me. And the second moment was when the Hartford Current listed me as one of the top sophomores in the state of Connecticut.
Okay. Okay.
And I was like, I don't even know how y'all know my name. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like we just talked about, I didn't play AAU,
Hmm.
so it was like, damn, I really got people following me because of basketball.
Hmm.
Um, so I think those were two moments where I was like, damn, like I could really kind of make something out of this. And I got my first recruitment letter when I was a sophomore.
Okay.
I was going into my sophomore season, and I was like, and it was a D1 letter.
Mm-hmm.
So
What
I was
school?
like,
You remember the
it was
school?
from the University of Hartford.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was from the University of Hartford. The University of Hartford, they used to send me a letter every 2-3 days.
Yeah.
And the letter would say, I remember they sent me this letter. They went through the whole alphabet once, and it had like A, and it had like all these different like athleticism, ability, agility. It had like all of these different things pertaining to basketball that started with the letter A. And it was like, we'd love to have you in our family to adapt these traits,
Gotcha.
And they sent me like letters, like all these theme letters saying like, hey, eventually we want you to come visit, all of that stuff. So they were really, really interested in me. That's when I was like, yeah, okay, like I could probably like really make something out of it. I got to start taking this serious. But it still really didn't click in my head.
Okay.
I was still like a knucklehead, like honestly. I was out in the street doing stuff I probably shouldn't be doing when it wasn't basketball season, and that kind of translated into me doing things, it carried over into basketball season. It carried over into school at times where I was like failing off the team. I didn't want to go to class, like I didn't want to go to school. Like I just wanted to hang with my friends. Like I had no like ambition to do well academically at all, So it kind of hurt me. It's one of like my biggest regrets in life.
Yeah. Now, how was the team? I mean, just throughout high school. I know you mentioned, historically, at least during that time frame, Connor was pretty decent here. I mean, during your time there, how'd you guys do? Just whether it was league wise, state tournament wise, how'd you guys do?
My sophomore year was probably the best team that we had.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, everybody in West Hartford that knows me, or that they say that was a state championship basketball team. Okay. We had a Division I lineup. Yeah. We had a 6'1" point guard. We had a 6'4" shooting guard, Dave Love, who eventually went to CCSU on a full ride. We had me at the 3, who was like 6'4". We had this other kid named Jason Durham, who was like 6'7", 6'8".
Okay.
And then we had this kid named Tim Hollins, who he was like maybe 6'6". So we had a really good team. Only thing, and we was what 8-9-0 when I failed off the team.
Yeah.
And eventually they ended up going to they ended up going to state tournament. They lost in the semifinals to Holy Cross, who had Edmund Saunders, who was the #1 player in the country, in the state at that time. Okay. And they lost by 4 points.
Yeah.
In the semifinals.
And those should have been your 4 or 5 points, right?
I know, right? And to this day, like those players that was on that team, they always, kick, they hit me and beat me up every time they see me. Like, yo, you cost me a state championship, like, so.
But you turn it around, you get things going. I mean, obviously in the classroom, where it's probably obviously most important, and you got some decisions to make as you upon graduation, man. What do you, as far as schools, what do you consider, and what's your thoughts back then as far as where you gonna go, or are you gonna play, or like what was going on?
Yeah, I turned it around a little bit academically towards the end, but then it was like, I still wasn't where I should have been, mentally, and so it hit me when when they told me like I was seeing it was like, you're not gonna graduate, like, so I was like, okay, now I got to think of another plan because I don't want to come back again. Yeah. When my class is all gone, and I started to see like my friends going away to school. They was going to Southern, and one of my friends, he was going to Dean, and I was like, damn, I'm still here. I don't have no plan at all. So I think that was a big turning point in my life. Like
Okay.
that was really like the changing of the guard. That was the huge turn click. And I was like, you know what? Like from that point right there, I just been super ambitious about everything that I did or
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do it 150% because I never want to go back to that moment where I feel like I'm being left out,
Okay.
you know, of a situation. So I I dropped out of high school and I decided to I went straight. I dropped out the same day, and then I went down there and I signed up to take my GED test.
Okay.
So I took the test, passed it, because I wasn't a stupid kid. I just didn't do the work.
Yeah.
I didn't go
Yeah.
to school. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I passed the GED test, and then I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like working a part-time job at like ESPN,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, damn, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, I was a security guard. I ended up, I was like meeting Stuart Scott and stuff. I was like, I don't want to like do this like forever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so what ended up happening was I ended up surprisingly, I was at a park one day playing basketball. I was at Walkett Park, and my old junior college coach was there, and he was playing,
Okay.
and he was like, "Yo, you're really good. Like, where you going to school?" Like, he was like, "What school you go to?" And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "I don't go to school." He
Yeah.
was like, "What school you going to?" And I was like, "No, I don't have a school." He was like, "You should come, over the Capitol. I just got fund, like we got funding for community college about basketball program. I
Mm-hmm.
just got the head coaching job. Like, you should come over there and check it out. Like, I'd love to have you over there." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." Like, that was me kind of being on my high horse of
Yeah.
going from a Division 1 prospect to
So
be like
junior college. Yeah.
a community college. Like,
Yeah.
nah. But one of my friends, he was going to register over there and take classes over there. So I had went with him one day, and I just stopped in the athletic office, and he was like, "Oh, I'm glad you came by." It wasn't the day he told me to come by, but
Mm-hmm.
we ended up connecting, and he ended up getting me to sign up. And he was just a good dude, man, a huge mentor in my life. And the thing that I loved about it was he let me he was the first taste of really kind of letting me be me.
Okay.
Like, high school was, me being taught and learning a lot about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Capital was me expressing who I was, like, and me just playing freely.
Yeah.
Connor was me playing in a system, you know, but it was still being constricted, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But when I went to Capital, it was they let the dogs loose,
Yes. Yeah.
and it my first year I averaged 17 points as a freshman. And then my second year, I led the country in scoring. I averaged 31.
Mm-hmm.
And I scored 1,300 points in 2
In
years.
2 years. Yeah.
Um, I was getting like, and at that time I had become really ambitious about like recruiting and stuff like that. So I was going out to I was paying for myself to go to showcases
Okay.
in like Maryland, like, so I could get exposure. And I ended up meeting like the one of the assistant coaches from Davidson. I
Mm-hmm.
met one of the assistant coaches from High Point. Um, Georgia Tech sent me letters. Like, and I had reached out to UConn. At the time, Tom Moore was an assistant there. He left eventually, and then he eventually came back.
Mm-hmm.
But Calhoun was the head coach, but Tom Moore had seen my highlight tape, and he was like, "I want you to come up to UConn, spend a couple weeks, play with the guys." And I had it kind of narrowed down to like, but I had at the time it was Takeo Post, which was a D2. They was like, we really, really like this guy was like at all of my games. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want you in Waterbury tomorrow. But he ended up taking a different job before, you know, I could commit there. So so I had it narrowed down to like Eastern, you know, UHeart. No, it was Eastern, UConn, and because I know I didn't want to go out of state really.
Okay. Okay.
So I was looking at all the state schools. I visited Western. I was like, yeah, I don't want to drive to go to Danbury every day, you know. Southern. So it was in my head, it was down to Eastern and UConn.
Okay.
Now I started looking at UConn and I was like, do I really like, I'm not used to not being the man.
Yeah.
And at that time, they had a class coming in of Karan Butler, you know, Scott Hazelton, who was a McDonald's All-American in Massachusetts, to Talik Brown,
Yeah.
New York City point guard, right? And at that time, they had Marcus Cox, who was the #1 player in Connecticut.
Yeah, from Bridgeport
coming in also. And I was like, they just got to, and they had returning Ben Gordon, several other guys. They had a Mecca Okafor getting ready to, you know, kind of blossom. They had Edmund Saunders still. They had Aju Dang. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to go there and have to bust my ass every single day for X amount of minutes. You know, it's just it's a deep team and it's a lot of competition, you know, and it was the Big East at that time.
Right.
I regret not going there because if I would have went there, I have a ring on my hand right now because they won a championship in 2004, my graduating year, you know. But I ended up choosing to go to Elms at the last minute because my post offer, the guy ended up taking another job out of state, upstate New York. I was like, I don't want to go there. And Eastern, the coach who was at Eastern, he ended up leaving and he ended up taking a full-time job at Elms. And that was how I ended up there.
Got you. Okay, I see now. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was a good thing. And you know, that was my man, Coach Silva, and I love him to this day, man. I love all my coaches to this day. I look back, especially now being in coaching, you know.
Interesting. So you get up there. How was obviously the level of play, and then how'd you do up there?
It was great, man. I mean, I was the big man on campus.
That's
you
what
know?
You wanted back then.
Yeah. I did, you know. I did. I was every person, every professor, every administrator, every last person on campus knew my name and knew who I was. All the way to the parking guy. I used to park my car and he used to be like, how you doing, Deshawn? Coming to practice? And I was like, damn, like, you know, it felt good, but it was a small campus, you know, it was 1,000 kids, you know. But they played really good competition. And that's something that I really like. You know, they played, we played Amherst, who was #1 in the country at that time, for Division III. You know, we played Trinity, who was #4. They scheduled the game against Trinity in Hartford, specifically for me. So it was like a homecoming for me, you know. So that was good, you know. It was like, our team wasn't really that good, but I ended up, you know, averaging like 17, 18 points. I made all conference up there my junior year. And, you know, over time, I ended up doing really well up there. I scored like 800 points. So, you know, in my college career, I scored over 2,000 points.
You know? Both schools,
Yeah. And I got invited to this all-star game in Boston, and it was Division 1, 2, and 3 players.
Okay.
And it was just a mixture. So it was basically like a showcase for all the best talent in New England to be able to, overseas people to come look at you and stuff like that. And I played well in the game. Guy came up to me like wanting me to go overseas and stuff, and I wasn't it. I was done at that time. I was 25 years old. I'm ready to get on my life.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going overseas to make $60,000 when I could make more than that at home.
Okay.
And at that time, my DJing career was starting to blossom, because I had did my senior year, I had did my internship at 93.7, and it was a time period where, I don't know, I know you remember the time where it was early 2000s. I mean, 50 Cent was on top of
Yeah,
the
he's on
world,
fire. Yeah.
like G-Unit, and I was DJing for an artist named Peso at the time, and he was from the same block as 50. So we had ties, we had connections and with an ability to get like G-Unit stuff and stuff like that, so I was like, man, I don't want to be, I could go make money, DJing. I had my dreams, of going to make money as a DJ. So I kind of left basketball. And at that time, I was sick and fed up with basketball. I had played it every day for the last 15 years, So I was like, yo, I'm tired of this,
Interesting, man. And obviously you talk about the DJ stuff. When did that start? Just kind of was that always concurrently running with basketball, or did you just pick that up later on? I don't know, high school, college, like just the whole. I mean, obviously you've been listening to music your whole life, but the whole DJing piece, like where did that just start taking, moving to the forefront?
I got my first taste of DJing when I was 16. We was gonna throw a surprise birthday party for one of my friends named Mo.
Okay.
And me and my crew, and we was like, yo, we don't got no DJ, and we none of us was working. We ain't had the money to hire no DJ. And we wanted to throw like a little house party, and they was like, yo, Hawk, like you always got all the new mixtapes and know all the new music. Why don't you just play the music? So, I got a couple CD players, and I know what I was doing. I was just playing the hottest songs, and as long as the music never stopped, that's what I was thinking, So, but I like the feeling of it, and but I never could afford the equipment.
Okay.
So, I stuck to basketball, and eventually, when I was at Capitol, I got the opportunity to buy the equipment. This kid named Monster P, he's a DJ in Hartford, reggae DJ. He was on my team when I was at Capitol, and he used to, sell his mixed CDs and stuff like that. And I used to be like, yo, like, how the hell you like do this? And he started putting me on to like little methods, and little tricks. So when I got the opportunity to get the money, I went to New York and I just invested in the equipment.
And I started first set of 12s.
Yeah, I started practice. I couldn't even afford 12s. I had to get Geminis.
The Gemini joints.
No, that was the cheap ones, I remember I used to have so much electrical tape around the needles because they used to break so much, man. Jumping all over the place. But and then like my graduation came, and my mother bought me a set of 1200s for my graduation. And I was in heaven. Like, it was to the point at that time where, it used to be so fun going out. We used to go out to bar with no name and stuff like that. And, I used to go out and, I would like just be like standing by next to the DJ booth, like just for hours just
Mhm.
staring at like what they was doing, you know. And it's at a time when like Craig G and Drake and Kid Capri was coming by and like
Yeah.
Funk Flex, like all those guys was coming to DJ, at the big name clubs in Hartford. And I was like just in awe. Like I was like just standing watching every single move they would make, how
Mhm.
they would, control the crowd, like what songs they would play, all that stuff. And then I started, booking parties. And I started, it started going pretty decent for me. I started getting some college gigs. And
Okay. I remember your first party?
yeah, I remember my first party, man. I did a party at Takeo Post back in
Okay.
the day.
Yeah.
And it was awful. like it was awful, man. Like the crowd wasn't that good,
Mhm.
but I look back at it and I was like, they weren't that good because I was just that horrible.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know nothing about reading a crowd. I just thought it was you go there and you play everything that the people come up to you and ask you to play, like,
Yeah.
and I remember it was at a time where it was like one mic was out, like Nas,
Yeah.
and like you know, I remember playing that song and it was just like it wasn't a party song, So it was like, especially
Yeah,
at a
because
college
he like
party,
he like whispering and then he gets
right?
amped. Yeah, that
Like,
kind of yeah.
I thought it was just like, you play all the hottest stuff you hear on the radio, but not realizing there's certain songs for certain moments,
Right. Right.
like, um, and that's stuff that, you learn over time in the game.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was one of my first parties. I did it with one of my boys and we stunk it up. And I was like, yeah, they ain't never calling me back no more. I
Yeah.
have never been back to that college
Yeah.
since.
Nah, every DJ man, I'm sure got a story when they caught a brick. Everybody got one when they
Yeah,
caught a brick, man.
yeah,
Nah, absolutely, man. And I know along the way, from music to basketball, you become a dad, man.
yeah.
Along the way, man. How's fatherhood changed you?
It's it's a constantly evolving process,
Hmm.
because, you know, my older son and my younger son couldn't be more opposites.
Okay.
My older son is a social kid. He takes right after his mother. He wants to be out. He wants to be
Hmm.
talking. He wants to be socializing. He wants to be with all the other kids,
Yeah.
like he's a basketball kid, like, but my youngest son, he is a homebody. He wants his switch. He wants his space. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to be bothered. He hates having to go out. Like, so like, like he doesn't like sports
Yeah.
unless it's like individual sports. Like he
Okay.
doesn't want to like be on a team or nothing like that,
Hmm.
like so they're very different, and I have to kind of adjust to both of their needs,
Yeah.
on a consistent basis. And looking at the way I am as a person, I like basketball and I like, going out to an extent, but I think with my oldest son DJ, having to coach him for the last 4 years
Hmm.
has made our relationship just blossom and grow. Like it started out like rocky, like, and I think people don't understand how coaches, people they don't understand how hard it is to coach your own son.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's a blessing because you get to spend time with them, but that could be a
Hmm.
curse also. You
Absolutely.
know, you
Hmm.
know, and when you tell them something, it's dad. You know,
Hmm.
and I'm like, sometimes I have to differentiate and say, no, I'm speaking to you as coach right now, not
Right.
as dad. Like,
Right.
but it's made our relationship grow so much to the point where like now his trust in me is not only as dad, but it's as coach also,
Right.
So he trusts me wholeheartedly when I tell him something about basketball. I can see, and it wasn't always like that in the beginning, but now I see like he's locked in, you know. So man, it's great, man, because and just as a person for myself, it changes me as a person, overall having them and just thinking like, you make better choices, you try and, do the right thing, like you just try and be a better person, like, and that's everything. That's, out on the streets, that's, with
yeah.
eating, fitness, you just try and, do the best you can, and be the best person that you can be for them.
Absolutely, man. How about just how important it is? I mean, you being a Black father. I mean, how important is that, man?
Very, I worry every day about them going out
Yeah.
and like what's gonna be their first encounter with racism. What's gonna
Hmm.
be because it's gonna hit them. The
Right.
world is too big, and eventually they gotta leave the nest. You know, so I just always think about like how is it gonna impact them? How is it gonna affect them? What's gonna be their first encounter? How are they gonna be able to handle it moving forward from there? Like like I think about all of those things. And with the state that the country is in, right now, it just I just always try and check in with them,
Hmm.
make sure they all right, like how you feeling today,
Yeah.
anything bothering you, what's going on, like, like it just made me more aware, um just of how much more supportive and nurturing I probably need to be as a parent.
Hmm.
Because we always think, like as men, like we always think, oh, our kids got to be tough,
Yeah. Yeah.
we you got to be tough going out
Hmm.
in the street, and it's
Hmm.
like, like that's a piece of it. Yeah, you want them to be able to handle themselves, but you also don't want them. They're still human beings, and I think with Black and brown kids, like it's easily their mental health is easily overlooked,
Hmm.
because
Oh,
that's
right.
what it's been for generations,
Hmm.
um so it just makes me more aware of all of those little things. I just want to check in with them, and but I always think I just want them to be prepared for the moment whenever they have to encounter
Absolutely, man. Well said. I know. You think they have it tougher than us when we were kids?
it. um Certain things I
Okay.
do. Certain things. I think they have it tougher because they have to deal with it right now. And
Hmm.
we necessarily didn't. And I
Yeah.
say that regarding social media,
Hmm.
it's right there prevalent in your face right now. You got to
Yeah.
deal with it right now. You know, I know what the police are doing to people out there, and I see it. And guess what? I got to go out there and see the police officer tomorrow and deal with it as a
Hmm.
13-year-old, where
Hmm.
we probably didn't even know. We knew what we heard, but we didn't actually see it, you
Yeah.
know. And I think it makes them have to face that right then and there. But on the other side of that, they do have a lot more resources than we had.
Hmm.
And also, the resources that they have is unbelievable, and the awareness that's being driven towards it is just incredible. For them to have to deal with what they're dealing with.
Hmm. Yeah. Any dad moment like, damn, I wish I would have knew this about being a father before I had kids?
Uh, Honestly, I think like I wish I would have listened to my father. I wish I wouldn't have not given my father such a hard time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, because at the time you don't realize, how hard it is, how
Hmm.
hard the world actually is. You know,
Yeah.
you just think that they're doing it because they want to do it, you know, and it's not necessarily like my father was trying to be evasive or he was trying to be, you know, not around or that he didn't have it in his heart that he did want to do good things, like, you know, like financially, and it was just tough, you know, and I wish I would have been able to understand that, you know, earlier. And I hope that, you know, same thing. I hope that my kids understand that, you know, like those things, you know, like, so definitely, I just wish I would have listened to my dad when he told me different things, like,
Yeah.
as a kid, you know.
Nah, definitely, man. I hear you, man. I'm gonna just with sports real quick. Just a question around
Yeah,
that. Like, as far as
sure.
what is sports giving you that stuck with you to this day?
Discipline,
Yeah.
discipline,
hmm
empathy, you know, definitely hard work and determination.
hmm
Um, you know, and I can give definitely all of that to Coach Silva and Coach Beignet, my high school coach and my coach at Elms. You know, I remember Coach Silva. He used to tell me and us in practice, um, you know, y'all, the ones who don't want to come to practice, y'all gonna be the same ones who don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
You know,
Nah.
it's so true.
That's
You
a real
know,
parallel. Absolutely.
it is. You
Yeah.
know, and I remember, you know, Coach Beignet, I remember like one of his sayings was like, "Get it done, just get it done."
hmm
Like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, you sit here and complain about it all. It's not gonna change the situation, you know.
Yeah.
Like, in that like just get it done. Like you spend so much time complaining about it, that's not going to change it. You're still going to have
Right.
to eventually get it done. You just have to
Right.
suck it up and go out there and get it done. And that's, I think that that's stuck with me to this day, you
hmm
know, with stuff that you don't want to do, because we all got stuff that we just like, oh God, I don't feel like doing this. But
Yeah.
it's like the more I procrastinate and, you know, kind of BS around it, you know, I still gonna eventually have to get it done.
Got to get it done. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I know before kind of just peel out here, man, I wanted to just put you on the spot here with just kind of some question, have a little bit of fun before we
Definitely.
head out here, man. So you in the whip here, obviously Connecticut guy here, man. 80, 84, 91.
91.
Now you had to think about that one.
I did, because well, you know why? Because like maybe it's because I take 84 a lot from where I live at.
Okay.
And it's like I'm always running into traffic in downtown Hartford and going into Waterbury.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Okay.
are the two like major traffic areas I'm always running into. And I just think it's got a scar inside my head. You know what I mean? Like, I just prefer 91.
Yeah, I got you. Albany Ave or Franklin Ave?
Albany Ave.
Okay.
Albany Ave. That's my stomping ground. So, and that's where you're gonna get probably the most variety.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, Franklin Avenue is more the Italian, Latino side of the city.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Albany Ave is more of the Black, you know,
Yeah.
Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and nothing against those cultures or races, you know, nothing against that. That's just where I was just more comfortable at.
Mm-hmm. All
Um,
right. Papa's Raging Cajun.
oh man, Raging Cajun.
All right.
I love pizza, but I'm a soul food guy, man, to the heart. And the original Raging Cajun though.
The
Like,
original joint. Yeah.
yeah, shout to my man Chef. I was one of his original people.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
when it was this was when it was on New Park Avenue,
Mm-hmm.
across the street from the movie theater.
Yeah.
Back in the days on
Yeah, I know
Sundays.
what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly
we
what you're
used to
talking
go there. Yeah, on Sundays. So yeah.
about. Connor, Capital, or Elms?
Damn, it's a tough one, man. I'm gonna say Capital.
Okay.
I had my. I don't even know if I could say that.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
what? You know what? I had Capital. I had a lot of fun at Capital.
Mm-hmm.
And I was naive at Capital. You know,
Okay.
it was a extension a little bit of high school, but like it was just so fun. Like it was that introductory to independence,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. But you kind of still didn't have any requirements that you had, you know, it's just
Mm-hmm.
school, you know, and basketball, you know. But I had the independence of driving. I could, you
Right.
know, move around. Like I had a little bit of money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like I really enjoy I was definitely a better um I think I got a lot out of Connor, definitely basketball wise. But I think for me, I was definitely a better college student than I was a high school student. I was
Okay.
not a get up every day and go to school type of kid. I was
Mm-hmm.
a give me my assignments and my syllabus. I'll turn it in on the date.
Yeah.
You know, and I just
Mm-hmm.
do. Like,
Yeah.
give me the deadline, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
No, absolutely. This might be a tough one. For the talented or Hot 93.7?
Oh, well, without, yeah, that's a hard one.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
a hard one. I don't know if I can pick
Nah,
one.
we thought it's a draw. It's cool. It's
That's the
cool.
only,
No,
yeah.
no, no
I might
pressure.
have
No
to,
pressure.
I might have to go draw on that one because, I mean, 93.7 has given me 14 years, and
Yeah.
if it probably wasn't for, no, I mean, I think I would have been able to start for the talented without 93.7, but it wouldn't be nowhere as big as it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 93 has definitely helped for the talented, yeah, you know, get to where it is. And yeah, that's a tough one, you know.
Fair enough, man. Now, fair enough. But even for the talent, I know I didn't talk too much about it, man. But interesting, even earlier when you just talked about, not even playing AAU or being invited to one tryout or what have you, to running your own AAU program for the talented, man. Like I said, I don't know if it's 3, 4 teams. I don't know if you got 20 teams now, but again, just to your point here, just AAU is a monster now, man. I think, think maybe my grandmother got a team. You know what I mean? It's like
Wouldn't
everybody
be
got
surprised.
yeah, like everybody got a squad, and just to find your niche and your groove in that, man, it's just something to just, it's a testament to you. And to your point here earlier, you talked about the whole, when you're gonna do it, you're gonna give it your all, your whatever, 150%. So even to see where you guys are at, man, that's great.
Thank
That's
you.
great. That's
Thanks.
totally great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 8 teams now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going well, man. I cannot complain. You know, with going into completing 3 full seasons now, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm blessed to be able to have the program grow, and I'm blessed to be able to have the team that I got around me. You know, I picked a really good team of, you know, and at first, I didn't know all the people, you know, so it was kind of a gamble, but they're just really good, genuine people, man. Like all, when I talk about the people, I say the coaches and people that I put in director positions,
Mm-hmm.
they're just really good,
Yeah.
good-hearted people, and that, in the AAU world, man, that's hard to find.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it, it's only a matter of time before somebody says, "Oh, I want my own program," or "Oh, why does Hawk got to be the CEO and sit in that seat?" and blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah. And but just really good people, man. It's a good system that we got, and it works for all of us. And at the end of the day, it's a put the kid first mentality for all of us. Like we all work jobs, and
Mm-hmm.
I think when I just kind of took that from DJing, where it's like if I DJ'd in my basement for the rest of my life and I never made a dime,
Mm-hmm.
I would still love it.
Yeah.
I'll still be calling my sons down. Hey, come listen to this. Because I just love it that much. And I think that's the same energy and feeling that we all have with talented in basketball.
Nah, absolutely. And as you're saying all that's too, I remember when I could make a layup and I played AAU, 13, 14 years old, man. Like
Mm.
those days, I still think about those days every now and then, especially, I mean, again, and to your point, even back then, they put the kids first. So, you know what I mean? And those kids that you have, man, they ain't gonna never forget this.
Mhm.
Never. I mean, as they transition to adulthood, kids, families, grandparents, eons from now, they're never gonna forget these times here. Just traveling, the camaraderie in the car,
Yeah.
fighting the fight, who not gonna sit in the middle seat. You know what I
Right.
mean? Know what I mean? So
That's so
yeah,
true.
yeah, they're not gonna forget any of that stuff, man. Nah, that's good. Nah, that's good stuff, man. I'm not done with you just yet. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
basketball or DJing
Basketball.
on the radio or in the club as far as DJing.
Radio. Radio. I'll give a club up any day. I from when I got on the radio, I got on the radio because I gave up clubs
Okay.
to go DJ on the radio. My first slot was Friday night, 12 to 3,
Mm-hmm.
So like that's a time where everybody's in the club trying to make money. But
Yeah.
I sacrificed and was like, yo, I'm going to do the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it That's like I think it kind of bred a culture even at our station where guys was like, oh, like, nah, I want to do the radio. Like the radio's more important. Like they
Mm-hmm.
start to see and like for me, I just love the radio.
Yeah.
I love being able to play new records. I love being able to put the puzzle together, just kind
Mm-hmm.
of figure it all out, how I want to blend this, how I want to get here, how I want and granted, you can do the same thing in a club, but it's influenced by people staring at you or reactions.
Right. Right.
And you don't have that on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of the purest ways of you being able to just be a DJ again.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you remember, like when back 80s, 90s, you went to see the DJ.
Yeah.
You didn't like he didn't have to play all of the newest songs. You went to see what he was gonna play,
Mm-hmm.
like dare walk up to a DJ and ask for a request.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like, yo, you went there just to hear him rock and be like, oh, like he's so dope the way he put it together and how he talk over it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the great thing about being a DJ. But now it's different, People want you to play Cardi B and Migos and Megan Thee Stallion for an hour and a half at the end of the night, and
Yeah.
it gets repetitive, man. It's like anybody can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the game has turned into, where everybody wants to buy turntables to go out and DJ now, like
Yeah.
so
Nah, I could definitely see that, man. Best team you ever been on in your life?
that Connor team,
Mm-hmm.
that Connor team, that's
Yeah.
probably that, or even maybe my Capital team.
Okay.
My Capital team was really good. We was, especially my second year, we were really good. My second year because they moved me to a 1-2 position. So
Mm-hmm.
I had the ball in my hands a lot and we had a big team.
Yeah.
Like we had like a 6'7" kid, like 2 6'7" kids, like a nice wingman,
Hmm.
like that was a really, really good team. So that was my funnest
Okay.
time.
Okay.
That was my funnest time.
Best game you ever played in your life on any level?
I played a game at Capitol. I had two games. One we played Dean at home,
Hmm.
and I had one of the best dunks ever in my life.
Yeah.
I was it was a fast break, like a 3-on-1, and the point guard at the time. It was my first year.
Hmm.
Point guard at the time. He kind of dished me like a little shovel pass,
Okay.
and I just took off, man. And it was like two hands, probably from in between like the dotted line and the free throw line.
Okay. Okay.
And it was all adrenaline. It was like our first home game,
Hmm.
like all adrenaline. Just they dished the ball back to me. I caught the ball and I just took off. And I took off two hands. And when I dunked the ball, I was so high that I lost my bearings in the air and I didn't know how to like land. I didn't,
Uh-oh.
yeah. So like I kind of like landed awkwardly, like when I fell, like I fell
Hmm.
on both of my feet, but it
Hmm.
was like kind of awkward, because I didn't realize how high I was actually up in the air.
Hmm.
And it's so funny when I was on, I gotta find the tape, but on the tape, I'm running up the court after the dunk, and you see my bench, the dean bench, the scores table, like
Yeah.
the crowd is going crazy, but you see all of those people on the other side of the court, like just in awe, like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't know, like I can't believe what I just witnessed type
Hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
So that was a really good moment.
Okay.
There's another situation where um we we played. I mean, I've had a lot of big scoring games. I mean, I had 40 something points against Takeo Post.
Okay.
I had like but I remember we played Trinity College at Trinity, and they was ranked number 2 or 3 in the country. And they were good. And
Hmm.
I was at Elms, it was my junior year, and I had like 28 points and like 8 assists. But it was a situation where we was down by like maybe 25 points.
Okay.
And I kind of just like led a comeback. Like, and we ended up losing the game at like 6 or something,
Hmm.
6 or 7 points. But like we had our opportunities to tie or take the lead. And it
Yeah.
was just like I just went out and I just like said, the hell with this. We're not losing like this. And I just started launching threes and they just started going in. Like,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like just launching them. And yeah, it was a good comeback, but we still ended up losing the game. So that was a great moment too, you
Yeah.
know.
Nah. 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 Good stuff, man. You remember best night DJing, man? Like as far as like, I killed this. I just nailed this night. You
Yeah,
remember that? You remember that night?
yeah. A couple times too. I
Okay.
remember because I've done a lot of parties, man. I've done over 2,500 parties.
Yeah.
So I remember a night where it was a jingle jam or a hot jam after party
Okay.
at the Palace.
Okay.
Um, I remember that night. That was a great night. I mean, it's like 10:30 and it's like 700 people in the club at 10:30.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
never see that. You know what I mean? Like in Hartford, like everybody usually waits till 10, 12:45, right? 1
Hmm.
o'clock, and then you get to play hard for an hour. But it was like, I went hard for like from like 10:30, 10:15, all the way till 2 in the morning. And it was cool because it was like one of the first couple of times where like I had the whole 93.7 staff in the building.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in there.
Because it
Yeah.
was an after party,
Okay.
you know, and I think that's when they was like, yo, this kid could DJ.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
at first they was just like, yo, we hear him on the radio, he good, but they was able to. And to this day, my man DJ Rex, he always is like, yo, you got to get back to where you was, you know, I better see you in there. You better be rocking like you was at Palace that night when I walked in at 10:15 and you was going hard. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, so we still talk about that day, you know, to this day. So that was a good day. I remember there was a time when I did this place called Sunset Jacks.
Mhm.
It was like, you know, it's an outdoor spot. It was a patio club. And
Okay.
you know, that was Palace, Sunset Jacks, like those was my house. I used to call those my houses.
Okay.
You know, because I had residency there, you know, so I was at
Right.
the Palace for 3.5 years and I was at Sunset Jacks for 2 years. So like those was like sometimes. And there was times where I DJ with other DJs and I was like, okay, like I think I'm rocking a little harder than you are right now, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You
No,
know,
definitely. I know you talked about standing next to the DJ, whoever was at Bar with No Name. Did you ever get a chance to spin there?
I did. I got a chance to spin that bar with no name maybe once,
Okay.
but I got a chance later to DJ alongside Kid Capri
Okay.
at Sunset Jacks.
Mhm.
So I was able to. I think I was able to DJ alongside Kid twice. I can't remember the other time, but I'm almost positive it was twice that I got a chance to DJ alongside Kid. And we just became that was when I knew I kind of arrived as a DJ too. I was like, yo, like, you know, I got like these guys that's like celebrities that's coming into CT to DJ and they know who I am. Like, you know, and I was like thinking, I was just like, you know.
And, you know, he set it off with the bus too. You know what I mean? So, you know, he pulled up with that pre-bus. Yeah.
Right. Right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Question.
Good times, man. Good times.
Question with that, as far as even with having to open up or whatever for a DJ or what have you, man. Like each DJ is different. Like the headline, as far as like I know, sometimes they give you like a list, like do not play these joints, and some folks could care less because they're gonna tear it up anyway.
Yeah.
Like I mean, what's your position on that? Like like you know, whatever. Obviously, I'll buy whatever the headliner, if you happen not to be the headliner that night.
Yeah. Nah, that's a great question. You know, it's a good topic because like every DJ is different. Like, you know, like when I used to DJ and kind of open for Flex, Flex ain't used to say like he never said like he wouldn't give me no list. He wouldn't be like, don't play this, don't play that. Like he Flex would but Flex whenever I'm DJing, Flex is there early.
Okay.
He's there at like, you know, there was times where I've been like, damn, he's here already? Like, you know, and that twice at both parties I've done with Flex, he's there early. Like, so he's actually there to hear me DJ. So he knows what not to play. And I think like, you know, as you DJ and you get a reputation, like I think, you know, because you know DJs talk, you know, and I think you know, and people talk, you know, and you get if you get a reputation for wanting to burn DJs out, you know, that's not good, you know. Like for me, it's always been a respect thing. It's always like, yo, you stay away from the new hot stuff because you know, like they want to play it. That's you know, like you know, it's just you got to play your position for that night. Now it is. I've been a headliner, obviously, a lot more times than I've been an opener. You know what I mean? So like,
now did you pass the list to anybody, or you was like whatever?
No, I don't. And there's been times where like, you know, young DJs, they think they gotta play all the hot stuff at 10:30, and I'm like, yo, like, like I'm the type of DJ that, like, I'll come in and yo, I'll bust your ass and play old
Right,
stuff.
right.
Like, yo, it's not about playing all the hottest new stuff. It's about the way you play music.
Hmm.
And I think like young DJs don't get that. I've seen DJs, man, I've seen Jazzy Jeff play Signed, Sealed, Delivered by Stevie Wonder and with young kids and have it rocking. And
Yeah.
like, damn, I didn't even think this would work here. These are all college kids.
Hmm.
I don't even think they know this song,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
but it's about the way you introduce it. It's about the way you sell it, so I, I I think like when somebody does that, I just be wanting to walk up and slap the hell out of them. But
Yeah.
I just, you keep your cool and just kind of be like, yo, like, like, yeah, they just must be ignorant to the game. Like, we'll see how far you go in the game. Like,
Hmm.
'cause at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna be DJ Hawk regardless of this
Right.
bad performance or good performance,
Hmm.
right? Like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna walk away. I'm still gonna be DJ Hawk.
Hmm.
You trying to make a name for yourself. Trying to make a name for yourself means you go in there, you play your part, you do a great. There's so many records that you can play to have a
Right.
great warm-up set. Like it's ridiculous. But
Absolutely.
like people just don't think, man. They don't use their heads. And that comes with everybody wanting to try and be a DJ.
Hmm.
You going out, it's so easy to access turntables. Lord knows how easy it is to access music now,
Hmm.
right? And everybody wants to be a DJ, but there's certain like little rules they don't tell people. They just expect you to kind of go off the honor system, but you got to learn that, you
Right.
know, and thank God, I've never been in a situation where I've done that to somebody. I've always known better to just, and you know why? Because that's how I learned.
Hmm.
That's how I learned to DJ. When I first started DJing radio gigs, I used to open for Rex. I used to open for Big Man. I used to
Hmm.
open for Buck at some of the biggest nightclubs around, like the Hot Club,
Yeah.
Craig, like Blue. Like I used to open a lot of different places. And I remember I opened for Craig at Toad's Place one day. And he had KRS-One. Like, so like whenever I walk into a situation like that, out of courtesy, I just be like, yo, you know what you want to do tonight? Like, you know what you want me to stay away from, you know, or, they, and most of the time they'd be like, yo, just do you, just, like,
Yeah, but you still know kind of like even, yeah, right,
absolutely.
right.
I'm not going to go walk in and play the hottest song of the night at 11 o'clock when it's
Yeah.
15 people in there just because I
Hmm.
want to make 15 people know who I am. It's a
Hmm.
better way for you to be
Right.
able to, you know, um, get people to know who you are than to burn somebody out. It just shows what type of person you are, I think.
Oh no, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. What your favorite genre? I know you do hip hop and R&B. Is there like a surprising one that like genre like you another genre or just in general? What's your favorite?
Um, no, I mean, I like playing a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. Like when
Hmm.
if you are open-minded, you go to one of my parties
Hmm.
and then you just kind of let me do me, you kind of like, you're gonna hear a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna go that crazy with it. I'm not gonna go playing no Green Day stuff or nothing like that, no
Hmm.
alternative stuff. But, you know, sometimes I'll listen to that stuff though when I'm in the car,
Yeah.
But I love, my hip hop, old, new, doesn't matter. I love finding gems that just make you be like, damn, I haven't heard this in a long time. This was cranking back in the day. Like, yo,
Yeah.
I love finding those songs, Um, reggae, I could play really, really well, growing up on the north end of Hartford and just, getting my little gems from a reggae DJ.
Yeah.
When I got started, I know how to play reggae pretty good. So, but I like playing a little bit of everything. But for the most part, like I'm a hip hop, R&B, reggae. I do some pop stuff. I like old school. I like a little bit of it all.
Yeah. Nah, good stuff, man. And I'm gonna yo-yo back a little bit to
Yeah.
basketball here. I mean, or sports just in general, man. Like just growing up, somebody who should have made it, whether it's to the college or to the league.
Oh man, like that I know, like personally, or
Personally, or I mean, know of somehow.
I mean, number of people I look at and be like, I just think they should have had better careers. Anthony Hardaway. I think Anthony Hardaway should have been a Hall of Fame basketball player.
Yeah.
Granted, he made the league. He had a nice run, but injuries hurt him. Larry Johnson, one of my favorite players ever from UNLV.
No, I remember Larry, man. You laugh, man. This big head hair. Used to have the Larry haircut with the part in the middle,
The
man.
part
Like,
in the middle,
absolutely.
the gold tooth.
I ain't had no gold,
You had the
gold
gold
tooth.
tooth.
Nah, I ain't front with no gold tooth. But
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 I used to love Larry Johnson, man. I just think he, back injuries kept him cut, short. Cut his career a little short. He became a 3-point shooter with the Knicks, and not as dominant of a player. When we look at college, I think about, Khalid Al-Amin, great player, like won a national championship at UConn, thought he should have just had a better NBA career, But when I look at local people too, I think about like some people that I played with. My man Dave Love, unbelievable talent. Like 6'5", shooting guard, long, athletic, could jump, could shoot the three, could handle the rock well, a fierce competitor, but definitely had the skills, man. Definitely had the skills. I played just against a lot of good players, man. The Jernigan kids from Hartford, like Mooka, Dutt, like that crew, like those kids were tough as nails, man. Like I hated playing those kids.
Yeah.
They were our Iversons, small, quick, handle the ball well, and just fearless. Just keep coming at you, like, good basketball players, man. So I just think they should have been at a Division I school somewhere playing basketball,
Yeah, you might kind of sort of answer this question, maybe not, but you gotta bring a five with you to the Civic Center in high school to play whoever wants to come there and play. Who's that five?
In college or
no, high school. High school.
Okay, high school. The top five that I would bring. Dave Love.
Okay.
Because I know he's not gonna quit on me. I would probably bring my five that I used to play with at the park.
Okay.
Dave Love. My man Mo, my boy Ali.
Okay.
Great point guard. Kid that I played with in college. His name is Craig. He was like 6'7" Jamaican center. He was like, kind of like an Olajuwon type of player.
Got you, yeah.
Him, he played tough too, man. Like, so those would be the ones that I would probably go to war with. you
Hmm.
know, because
Yeah.
they battle tested with me, you know.
Yeah, you know what they bringing.
I do, you
Yeah.
know, and we've played the best. We used to drive around park to park, you know, every week we find a different park. Oh, we hear they balling over here. Now we go into Waterbury. And I
Hmm.
had my license at 16.
Okay.
So I was driving, you know, we go to Berlin and play. We go to New Haven and play. We go to try and go here and play, you know, like we was trying to play everywhere, man, you know. So
Yeah, a couple more and I'll leave you alone, man. What are you most proud of?
my boys,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
boys, because I think I'm most proud of that, and I just think and two, I think I'm most proud of where I'm at today.
Okay.
If you would have saw a picture and a snapshot of a 18-year-old Deshawn on paper, you'd have been like, this kid going to jail, you
Hmm.
know, or you know, something gonna end up happening to him, you know. But for me to be here where I am, you know, master's degree,
Yeah,
I was the
absolutely.
worst student ever. I dropped out of high school, like,
Hmm.
you know, so to sit here with, you know, a bachelor's and a master's degree, like,
Hmm.
it's just amazing, you know. So like that, just home ownership,
Yeah,
you know, nobody in my family owned a house when I was a
yeah,
kid.
yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, nobody owned a house in my in my family.
Hmm.
You know, that seemed like such a far-fetched, huge goal, you know, like to be able to own a house and be able to be yours, like, you know. So
Yeah.
that I'm really proud of that, you know. Just the consistency that I've had with all of the different things that I choose to do.
Hmm.
So as a social worker, having 13 years and being in the field more than 20
Hmm.
now, like that's
Hmm.
huge, you know, for me. A DJ to be on the radio for 14 years and be able to entertain, having somebody
Yeah,
trust me with 1.2 million listeners, like you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like it's for 14 years
Yeah,
has
yeah,
been
that's a hell of a run. Yeah, absolutely.
huge,
Absolutely.
you know, and doubling back, you know, when I say my kids, you know, yeah, you know, I just think, you know, they're good. Not only like they're good kids,
Yeah.
you know, like just that I've raised like so far I've raised really good boys. Like they they care about people's feelings. They think, you
Hmm.
know, they try their hardest when they're in school. They're good students, you know, like so to see them like, you know, they're polite, respectful, like, you know, all the things that you would really want for your kid to be, like, I think like, you know, they really present that, you know, and that's
Hmm.
the thing that everybody doesn't see, you know, like, but it's definitely something that kind of makes me proud and happy when I see them.
Which it should. It should day in and day out. Best part about being Deshaun Hawkins.
Variety.
Yeah.
You know, you wake up and it's a million things on the plate, a million things on the paper, but all of them are something different and they all gonna challenge you in a certain way every day,
Hmm.
you know, whether it's interacting with my directors and, you know, my people who help me run the sports company,
Hmm.
you know, or whether it's sitting down and having to talk to, you know, my workers and my manager about how we gonna keep this family together, you
Hmm.
know, or whether it's me having to talk to an artist and say, hey, you know, I like this record, but this may not be the one for you, you know,
Yeah.
and having to give them my honest opinion. So it's like a million different things, but it's like I think what keeps me going is the variety and the never walking into the same thing every day.
Yeah.
If I had to walk in and play the same exact music day after day after day after day, I would be bored.
Yeah.
If I had to walk in and see the same case over and over and over, I would be bored. Or if I walk in and see, you know, train the exact same kids over and over and over, like that would be like,
Yeah.
like I like the evolution of things and seeing growth, seeing, you start one place and you finish with that end product, high risk, high reward type of person I am.
Yeah, nah, you said a whole lot, man. I just wanted to say thank you, man. Just stuff I ain't never knew, man. I didn't even though, I mean, again, not even to minimize it because I think it's just damn near equivalent as a high school diploma. I never knew you took the GED route. You dropped out of school. I never even knew that. But there's even other stuff here, man. Like, and just to see you, periodically, like, coming and going. And to your point, the variety. I mean, you got a lot of things, going on here. But also make it a point too. Like even, that helps me out. Officially, you being you helps me be officially me in some way, some indirect way, man, because it's kind of like I bump into you, I better have something to talk about. I ain't trying to talk about, that something going on, like, you know what I mean? Like, something that I just keep, talking blue in the face about something that never jumped off, but it keeps me inspired. And I think just one of, Black men, you talk about home ownership, you talk about being a father and all that, just how important all that stuff is. I mean, because, we going wherever places with the deck stacked against us, and it's up to us to just kick that stack down and just be like, no, we here, and then, like I said, and you've done that and you continue to do that, as far as just navigating whether obviously with your, your sports program and, DJing and all that other stuff here, man. It's just been great to watch, man. And I always tell you, like, one day, whatever it is, you're going to have to make a decision about something. You might have to put the turntables up, I don't know, or, or just keep them in the big office that you got in your building here, something to spend, because like this, for the talent, like I said, I just see that just going somewhere like nothing but great things, man. And I'm sure everything else you got that we even probably talk about that's brewing as well, man. Like I'm proud of you, man. And like I said, I just look forward to just seeing what's to come, man. And like I said, I just say thank you, not only for the time you just spent with me, but just with everything that you're doing and the service that you provide in any and all capacities, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And, thanks for having me. I'm still a very humble person,
Yeah.
despite like, all the things that I try and accomplish or have accomplished. Like I still like am a well-grounded person, and I try to, just interact with people. I live by the motto. Another, one, I just got this saying from one of my old coaches. We reconnected, and he was like, you're always becoming, you never arrived. And I'm like, yo, that's so true.
Yeah.
Like, you always got to stay in the mode of you always want to become. you know don't ever think you made it, because that's when life stops for you. you know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
That's right.
Like
That's right.
you always have something new to be able to bring to the table, or be able to offer, or do
Mhm.
better at. So
Nah, absolutely, man. Words to live by, man. I probably steal that and use that somewhere along the way, man. But it's so true though. It's totally so true. Nah, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate
thank
it. Thanks
thank
for the time, man. I'm sure we'll link up one way or another.
yeah, definitely we got to do.
Nah,
I want to be able to set something up like this in the future, where you maybe we could do it with like an audience.
absolutely,
you know
absolutely. Nah, look forward to it. Totally, totally, man. So, all right, now to next time, dog.
okay.
I know that. Peace, man.
Right, take care.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Definitely. Got a lot of things going on, Deshawn, but in the same breath, man, just as he alluded to at the end, man, just humble about everything, man, because you always be coming. Told him I was gonna steal that, and I just stole it, and even wait 5 minutes. Always be coming. So, with that even being said, I'm just slide out on this. So I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.